Hi guys, Monique here from Creative Wife Life. So glad that you're here. Just want to make a disclaimer. Yeah, I have some jeans, my husband's jeans, hanging up. I washed them, but they need to dry. I like that. And then this coffee maker back here, my Keurig broke. For like, you haven't had a Keurig for a couple weeks. It died on me finally after 6 years. And I just bought this quick replacement at Walmart for $20 and it doesn't work for us. It just doesn't work. So guys, I just wanted to just talk to y'all about, those who are going back to school, or some of you guys are already back into homeschool, and some people are just joining the homeschool community because of all that's going on. We're doing a quick list of things that I just wanted to just, my 5th year homeschooling, my only child, but going into kind of my 2nd year of helping a friend of mine homeschool her 4 kids in New York City, so it's kind of new for me as well. A few things I just have carried with me and learned. I started homeschooling my daughter Riley from kindergarten. She's going into 4th grade right now, and some things that I've learned, and I just wanted to share with you. Okay, so one of the things I just want to say is don't be afraid of having to change things. The next thing I wanted to say is to find out what works for your kids and you, and that kind of ties into the first part of what I was talking about. So I quickly discovered that I wanted to make sure that Riley felt good about homeschooling, but I also wanted to make sure that I felt good, that it worked for me as well. So I found that she wasn't into the super structured thing. I like structure, but she's not into it. But we came to happy medium, okay? And it kind of worked out better. So find out what works for you as the parent, or whoever's homeschooling your child this year, and find out what works for your kid. Next thing is don't compare. This is huge, and I could have a whole video just on this alone. Compare what your child is doing with another child, another family. Even if they are the same age and the same grade, it's easy to do it, but don't do it. Recognize and zero in on your child and see what their strengths and their weaknesses are. What do they like? What do they not like? What works for them and what doesn't work for them? Zero in on your child or your children and find out what works for them. Don't say that Johnny over here is reading so much more faster than my child. What's wrong with my child? Why isn't my child able to read chapter books when Johnny over there is reading chapter books? Don't compare. It's okay if you talk to somebody and say, hey, give me an idea, suggestion, that's fine, but I'm telling you, don't compare. The thing I want to talk about is having a homeschool room. Okay, so this is hilarious because I really like Decor. I watch YouTube videos all the time about classrooms and teachers going back to school and what they're doing for their kids. I love it so much. The first year of homeschooling kindergarten, I transformed my whole living room into a huge map of the US. I had one point I had a whole wall that just had a thankful tree on it, and every day Riley would have to write something that she's thankful for on a leaf and put it on the tree. And I had my desk in there, I loved it so much. I have a tour. I should link it below. I love it. And I think that if you want to do it, do it. But you know what I found out? We didn't really use that room. We sat at the table, the kitchen table, and we did homework there. Sometimes we just sat on the couch and just read together. Or in the middle of kindergarten, I actually started taking those things down. And for the rest of kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, we have not. The thing is that I think it's very important to have some kind of outside time with your kid. So, and this is probably something that you guys just already know, but how important it is to schedule activities outside of the home. Whether that means just going to the library, whether that means just going out to lunch one day, or if that means that there's a homeschool co-op around in your neighborhood, those are excellent. You're a part of that for 2 years. Whether that means going to Girl Scouts, dance class, skating lessons, days where you're not going to want to go out and you're not going to have the time to go out. That's okay. give yourself permission to not go out every day. That's just another thought. But you should, I don't know, out of a 5-day week, maybe 2 to 3 days a week where you have a scheduled activity to go out. And for me and Riley, honestly, a lot of times it was like, let's go to the park, let's go to the library. Those two things are free. And then let's go grab some lunch at Chick-fil-A. One thing is that I think it's important to, another thing is I think it's important is to set a schedule. So I'm not talking about if you're not into being rigid, and you don't want traditional school, or you are more of an unschooler, or whatever it is. I think it's important to set some kind of schedule. It could be as light as get up, eat your breakfast, and do some reading for 30 minutes. And then when we're ready, we could go into school. And then when we're ready, we can do some crafts. You may not put a time on everything or a time limit, but I think it's important to establish some kind of schedule. That's just because in my opinion, it promotes independence, so that if for some reason you have to take a call, or maybe you're not doing 100%, or something else taking up your time in the morning, your child or your children know what to do. Another thing that was interesting is, whether or not you want to do year-round school, or you want to start in September and go to June like a traditional school, or whether you want to do 6 weeks on and 1 week off. There are several different things that homeschoolers are doing, and again, it's up to you to decide what works for you. All right, another thing is whether or not you want to do online, or you want to do textbooks, or you want to do workbooks or printouts, or you want to do boxed, fully come to you ready to go boxed curriculum. All of those are great options, and again, it's up to you to decide what works for you. I did not do any kind of textbooks or anything like that coming into kindergarten. Then I started realizing that I need some kind of structure. I need some kind of accountability, so I started ordering workbooks little bit by little bit, and found out that I actually really liked them. And it helped Riley because she would just know what to do. She'd get up in the morning, grab her book, and start working. And it just helped, and I was able to check it on a daily basis to see that she was doing her work and what she needed help on and what she did really well on, and it just helped me. However, some people just do purely online. This year, I know in the public school system, people are doing a hybrid, which is online and going into school, and there's all sorts of options out there. The trick is just to find what works for you. Okay, so this last one, I just wanted to kind of just wrap up and say is so important just to have fun. So once you start to know, you probably already know if you are just getting into homeschooling, or you have an older one now that you just kind of got thrown into homeschooling, or whatever you're doing, it's important to just, your kid. So I knew in kindergarten that Riley loved music. So I did a lot of my lessons that were musically centric. And then I did things outside of the box. We studied Mozart, we studied Beethoven, Chopin, Debussy, studied these beautiful composers, and I played the music, and we would talk about them, and she'd draw a picture of them. We did a lot of art study. And we went to the museum and we looked at the art that we studied. Know your kid and know what interests them, and that's the point of homeschooling, is that yes, you need your cores. You need to know how to read and write well, and you know how to do your math, science, geography, social studies. You need to know how to do all those things, but it gives you the flexibility as a homeschooler to also expand those things according to your child's interests. And that's the main thing. So out of everything that I've said, not comparing your homeschool room, looking down year-round versus, taking scheduled breaks and how you're doing that, those things are really good and they're essential to your homeschool experience. But to me, what's most important is being able to gear your learning to your child's interests. I think that's the most important thing. So if you have any questions below, let me know.